Hey everybody, welcome to worksheet 21.5 question solution. So we have another heating curve for water here, and then they're giving us some true and false statements that we need to determine the validity of. So we're going to jump back to that diagram we had earlier where we're looking at the kinetic and potential energy changes along with adding and removing energy from our H2O. So for our first statement, they're saying that water in the liquid phase does not exhibit any hydrogen bonds between water molecules. So without even identifying or looking at this phase, we know that this is going to be a false statement. In the liquid phase, water does exhibit hydrogen bonds. The second one says that the heat of fusion is the energy required to break some of the hydrogen bonds during the melting process. So fusion is equivalent to melting. So that means we're going from the solid ice into the liquid water. Solid ice on average has approximately 4 hydrogen bonds per molecule. Liquid water has approximately 3.4 hydrogen bonds per molecule, and steam has 0 hydrogen bonds. So the heat of fusion, what we have happening here is we melt. Some of these hydrogen bonds are breaking during this process. We're spreading out our molecules. The molecules are more tightly packed in ice, and they're slightly more spread out in water. So the heat of fusion, some of that energy that's required is breaking the hydrogen bonds during the melting process. Statement 3 says that when water evaporates, so moving from point D to point E, the hydrogen bonds are formed between water molecules. If we're moving from point D to point E, we're going from water all the way to steam. The particles of water are more tightly compacted, and the particles of steam are less dense and they're more spread out. Because the particles of steam are more spread out, we say that they have weaker intermolecular forces. The particles of water would have stronger intermolecular forces. There are no hydrogen bonds that occur in water vapor or steam. So we know that when water is evaporating from point D to point E, hydrogen bonds, all of the hydrogen bonds that remain are breaking. There's no hydrogen bonds forming there. So this is going to be false. For a fourth statement, when we're heating ice, so going from point A to point B, we're increasing the vibrations of the atoms. If we look here, the kinetic energy is a measure of atomic vibration. If you increase the kinetic energy of your atom, it's going to vibrate more, or it's going to have more energy. So as we heat the ice from A to B, we're adding energy and we're adding kinetic energy. So this is going to be a true statement. Statement 5 says that hydrogen bonds between water molecules are broken when evaporation occurs. Water in the liquid phase does contain hydrogen bonds. Steam in the gas phase does not contain any hydrogen bonds. From that logic, we can conclude that the evaporation process is eliminating those hydrogen bonds. So this is a true statement. For the sixth one and final statement, says that heating water, so going from C to D, decreases the kinetic energy of water. If we look here, this is a changing kinetic energy process. However, we're moving from left to right, so we're adding energy in that process. So heating water from point C to D is increasing the kinetic energy of water. So this last one is going to be false. And then we're all done.